You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. Colin, as always, it's great to have you here in the studio.
Well, thank you, Daniel, for inviting us along again. I think it's our third evening, and it's nice to know that I seem to be doing things right.
Colin, I know you want to talk a little bit about the differences between old and modern music next.
I think this is a problem all the way through. I mean, organ clubs are failing to get young audiences in, and we've discussed this, we've looked at it, and I think the youth of today is no different, I suppose, to the youth when we were young, in the fact that we can't understand, if you like, the modern type music. And I'm sure our parents couldn't understand us when we were younger, when we used to follow the big bands around Ted Heath, Ken McIntosh, Joe Loss. We'd stand in front of the stage and listen to them play. And I think the youth of today is the same, but we just don't. There doesn't seem to be able to break that barrier down between modern music and, when people say, "Oh, organ music." But I'm hoping that by playing some of the tracks tonight, they will find that it isn't organ music as such. It's like going to listen to an orchestra or a band on stage with one man playing it with instruments, sort of thing. So
I think the next theme is music writers, I understand.
Yes, I think when I was talking earlier about the difference in the types of music, and I was saying that the difference of today and in the past, unfortunately, many of the writers, John Barry, James Last, and people like that, a lot of their music that they have written has lived and is still being played from a lifetime. I just wonder whether the modern music will be sort of replace that. I mean, the music you hear for the younger generation today is played, but it seems to die very quickly. And I just think that the older type music seems to have a lasting life, if you like. I mean, Irving Berlin and all this sort of thing. That music is still played, and I'm just wondering why the modern music doesn't live as long as the old type music. Asking for your comments on this, Daniel. Have you got a feeling? Have you got any views on that?
Well, no, thinking about it, you do seem to these days, you get a track that seems to be being played on every radio station. It's in all the shops or on all the downloads. Then suddenly it just sort of disappears into the background, and something new's the sort of even thing, and that just doesn't get played. So yeah, I think you're right in some ways.
But I think the sign of it in the newer music that comes through is, and I think some of it is played. I mean, okay, the one that comes to mind is No Matter What and things like that, and they are still living. They're still being played, and they're played by our artists as well, and thoroughly enjoyed. So I'm just wondering, it's music that comes right to the fore, and then it goes and you don't hear again. But now and again there is one that comes through, and it is played just the same as the ones that I'm mentioning, sort of thing.
And I know we're going to talk a little bit more about artists, I think, nationally a little bit more.
Yeah, just covering the artists that you're hearing and playing. It's amazing, really, when you look at their profiles and when they started playing and how they started playing. Many of these artists, believe it or not, started playing at the age of 5 or 7, and they started playing on an instrument that was in their house, and they'd start playing by just a few Christmas carols and get into it, and their parents would see the possibilities there and sort of have them arrange for them to go to a teacher, and they came up through there. But when you think they were playing at 5 and 7, I think that's amazing, really. And some of them even were doing their first public concerts, okay, not big ones, but public concerts at sort of 14 or 15, and they were performing to sort of maybe 100 people, which really I think is amazing. It's not an easy profession, I would think, to follow, because they travel to Sheppey from all around the country. We go through some of them. Tony Stace comes from York, Andrew Nicks comes from the same area, Brett Wells, Nottingham, Ian Griffin, Cardiff, So they come quite a distance to Sheppey to perform in concert. And of course, after driving here, unfortunately we have our evenings on a Friday evening, and as you know, this traffic on Sheppey isn't very good for them to get here on a Friday evening. They've got to unload the equipment from the vehicle and assemble it on the stage, and at the end of the concert they've got to put it all back in their vehicle and in many cases drive home through the night. So it's not an easy profession to follow, and unfortunately the age comes into it. There's several of the very, very accomplished artists who have retired from the circuit. I have, there's John, there's going through, there's Ian Darlington and people like that who John Walker, they've left the circuit, and unfortunately they were very, very accomplished artists. So age comes into it when lifting the equipment around does affect their careers as well.
And I know you next wanted to talk about the organ sort of club scene nationally and in general with clubs, I think.
Yes, the clubs, or the situation around the country, I think, and we did discuss a little bit before we started, is that there's an age thing coming into the scene, if you like, in the fact that organ clubs, if you talk to youngsters, it's a lot of old fuddy-duddy sort of thing. Well, I don't think that is perfectly true. It is to a certain extent, but it is this barrier between new and or modern music and old music. But the age barrier is certainly affecting the scene nationally, because youngsters or the young people will not come along to the club nights. I'm sure they'd enjoy it if they did give it a chance, some of them. But nationally, there is a problem now in the fact that as the membership of organ clubs declines because of the age thing, it is a very difficult job to fill the officers' positions and that sort of thing. And the memberships are slightly dropping all around the country. In fact, there are 4 national clubs nationally that are having to fold up or finish on Christmas time because of this problem, in the fact that they're unable to get officers and committee to maintain the running of the club, and their memberships are slightly dropping. So it would be wrong to say there isn't a problem nationally as far as memberships and clubs support and that sort of thing. So there is a problem that's facing the scene in the years to come. So,
and I know you next wanted to talk a little bit about the future, looking ahead.
Yes, I would like to think that the club has been going 32 years, and obviously you always want to be successful and you always want to look at the future. I would hope that the organ club, the Sheppey Organ Club, yes, we're having a few little difficulties the same as nationally. We are running with a few committee members short at the present time, so we're always looking for committee members, and the membership, unfortunately, people pass away and that sort of thing, so we're always interested in getting extra members. So if anybody sort of enjoys the music that's being played tonight, we would welcome them to come along to the club and to listen to a programme and see what they think. And obviously, if they want to become involved, we'd be very pleased to welcome them on the committee and that sort of thing. So I'm sure that some people will be surprised if they came along and listened to a concert. And I just hope that the music we're playing tonight is the right sort of music to encourage people to come along and support the club. And obviously membership and that sort of thing is the future of the club, so it's something we're always looking for and would always welcome. The last track, by the way, by Paul Carman, was, as you could tell by the clapping, was from a live recording, and I hope you agree that I'd probably done right in bringing it along tonight, a little bit different to just the playing of music, and just introduce that little bit of singing. He did surprise the members on the night. I mean, I thought it was very pleasant, and I think most of the audience was very surprised at the performance as well.
And I know you wanted to have a little look back at what's happened in 2015 at the club.
Yes, it's been another year of quite a lot of activity. I would like to say that the Sheppey Organ Club is not just an organ club. We have got a social side and doing quite a few social events. The last social event that we had in the club was that the club took a group to Germany, to the just over the border Monschau area, which proved very successful, and the weather was fine. So we do holidays. That will be about the 23rd holiday that I've arranged abroad since the club has been going. And in the future, next year, we've already got a holiday plan and booking up and partly booked. 4 years or so ago, we took a group to Norway, on a cruise to Norway. And I have to say, personally now, it's a bit of personal choice, but I thought the country was absolutely beautiful. And we will be returning to Norway next year, and we're going on the ship, the Magellan, the new cruise ship that goes out of Tilbury. So we're doing 8 days in Norway. That is well booked up, but if we are taking outsiders now, so if anybody would like to have an 8-day holiday in Norway, and the price is quite good, then please contact us or let us know that they are interested. So there's an 8-day holiday. It goes out in May, 21st of May next year. The other event that we got going is strange enough to the same ship, and this is booked up. We're going up for a one night aboard the cruise ship Magellan. So you go in, you have dinner, and then you go and see the show on the ship. You sleep aboard the ship, you have breakfast aboard the ship, and then you leave the next day. But it gives you a chance to look at the ship, and if you've never been on a cruise ship, it gives you a chance to look around the ship and see part of what goes on. So they're two of the events that we've got planned socially for next year, or the end of this year and next year. As I say, the December one, unfortunately, is fully booked. We can't take any more bookings. But the one in May, as I say, outsiders are welcome. If anybody fancies a cruise to Norway, then please contact us and we'll discuss it with them and let them have the details. But otherwise, yes, it's been another active year socially. Can I just put some information about the club into the programme, and that is if anybody has enjoyed I hope you've enjoyed the music this evening, but if you'd like to come along to the club, the club meets on the last Friday excuse me, of every month at the Shennessy's Working Men's Club. I think it is a very good value for money entertainment. It's £3 for members to come in and £4 for visitors to come in. It is obviously a show 2 hours long, and refreshments, and obviously the licensed bar are available. We'd be very pleased to see anybody that would like to come along. If you would like to talk about it first, I'll be pleased to talk to anybody on the telephone. It's 01795 664 007. So if you would like some information on the club, please come along.